Everything's entertainment. That's all I'm saying.
Not everything. As I can
Everything
attest.
is awesome.
I love
This
that.
is also awesome.
Let's get paid.
That is so you.
Yes,
Okay, I'm writing down the name of these two movies. A Holiday Boyfriend.
All right, I'm going to hit the intro.
Okay,
We do
I will.
that, and we'll get going.
Awesome. We missed the music last week.
You ever get tired of being awesome alone? So do we. So we started a podcast about it. Let's be awesome together, people. Happy it's freezing outside day.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
It's winter.
And look who's first.
Oh, yay. It always makes me smile.
Valencia.
Guess who joined our Discord?
Valencia?
She did.
About time.
Charles is always so, dramatic.
You know how entertaining is. Yeah, cool.
Oh, that's true. So how you feeling? We missed you last week.
Yeah, it was. I'm all business all the time, right? So I had, hey, I'm going to take off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm finally going to get some rest from this year because I've been going nonstop since January 1st, it feels like.
Have a little
I might have had a
vacay.
vacation a little bit in there, but no. And you know what?
You got
You got to
sick.
schedule sickness somewhere. And so I woke up Wednesday morning going, oh my God.
Just shoot me.
Yeah. I still handled a tiny bit of business, but then it was like Thursday I felt better. And we'd already canceled Thanksgiving, which was the best. It was the best just having internal family, not all the extra.
Oh, that's nice.
That's fine to have the extra stuff, but yeah, it was
Sometimes it's, yeah.
You know, Aaron and I played video games for a while. We played
Oh, that's awesome.
Tears of the Kingdom during the day, Thursday, while some stuff was cooking. Because stress was gone, right? So
Right.
then Friday, I had Wise and Nerdy. We bumped it because of Thanksgiving, and that worked out pretty well. And so, yeah, by the time Saturday rolled around, I felt much better. And so by Monday, I'm back at work. Fit as a fiddle. So I schedule my sickness on my days off, people.
Isn't that the way that works, though? It's like your body finally is like, oh, I can relax, so let me get sick.
Yeah. I was
know.
like, dude, you're doing it wrong.
Well, yeah.
We want sympathy. I've never been the man flu kind of guy, but it's like there's certain times
Are
when
you
I'm
sure?
like, okay, maybe not never, but
Seriously,
in my adult
can we
life.
get your wife on and ask her that question? Because she's the one that knows.
Honestly, if I could get her, she's not here right now. I'd say, hey, come here for a second, 'cause I want to ask you this. I don't think I've ever been like that. Oh no, I'm usually just leave me alone. Do you want anything?
no.
Nope, leave me alone. Do you need a message? Just leave me alone.
Yeah, I track with that, too.
Yeah.
I'm a leave me alone.
Every once in a while, we have to sleep in separate beds if it's too bad.
Yep.
There was once it was bad enough. Like this was the worst I had. Man, I can't remember if I got food poisoning or what. Like two Thanksgivings, two different Thanksgivings.
food
I got
poisoning
really
sucks.
sick. But I don't remember what happened. But I do remember it was bad enough. I was up and down enough that Aaron slept somewhere else in the house, and we had a TV in our bedroom at the time. And like at 4 a.m, I'm watching Law and Order because I was awake again and couldn't sleep and all that. But that's kind of how you be awesome alone. But we're talking about being awesome together. How about you, Tyra? It sounds like you had a really well done show last week.
Well, Bobby Blackwolf came and stood in your stead and was the rock god of podcasting, not, but he is all kinds of awesome. He is definitely the rock god of gaming and streaming. That man
He is
has
a good gaming guy for sure.
Oh my Lord. And how long he has been doing it consistently. I think him and Mike Faber
as
are
long
the
as
two
me, I
guys.
think.
Yeah. And you. But I mean, I'm going to cough now. So take this over so I can cough.
Okay, I'll do that. All right. There
Oh,
we go.
really?
I just
That
had for you.
defeated the purpose of me trying to find the mute button fast.
But it was funnier with my voice and you coughing. Entertainment, people. That is what I'm here for.
I had no idea that's what this show was. But,
oh, my goodness.
I mean,
We
he's so consistent.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Honestly, I am jealous of him. There's definitely just really something to be celebrated about a person that can keep doing what they started with. Honestly, it's not even being consistent. I mean, that is the result of it. But I think it is just, he went, I know what I like to do, and I don't need to do any more than that. And it just works. And there's no downplay to that. I mean, he knows he likes gaming. He knows he likes streaming games. He knows he likes talking about games. And he's just done that forever.
Yes, and he has some really cool toys. We took a tour of some of the toys while he was on.
Yeah.
The Pac-Man was a very big hit, I have to say.
I mean,
by the way, I'm a little confused because I'm on the right-hand side, and I think I'm supposed to be on the left. Or the left. There we go. Thanks.
There you go.
Well, you're the one who usually I don't even know how to switch us.
That's true. But it's like, sometimes it just has to do with the logo and how the logo sits and pops is all.
Oh, look at that. I could look at what I just did.
Yeah. And actually, that works because our microphones are touching.
That is kind of weird. Okay. Do you
if,
want me back on the other side? I'm okay on the other side.
If this podcast lasts longer than 4 hours, seek consultations. Good. I got a laugh. I wasn't sure I was going to get a laugh out of that one.
That was a dad joke.
Oh, you missed? Okay. Okay, a little bit. Well, I watered it down as it was coming through my brain at screaming speed of sound. To say, no. Let's bring that joke back to what I was going to say.
Let's bring that back. You know what I'm confused with?
What are you confused with?
I dropped a post on Discord, and it's not showing up on Discord. So now I'm a little concerned where I dropped the post.
Yeah, are we sure we hit publish?
That could be the problem. Hold it, please. No. I wonder. I don't know what I did. Anyway, somewhere on Discord, I published about this event. Here we are.
Speaking of events,
yes.
Have you ever been the kind of person, podcaster, creator, and this is a professional question, does making your live show and a recurring event on Facebook help people see your show?
I think so.
Or whatever you're creating.
I think so. I think it also makes you more likely to get it done. I think it's a commitment, and that makes it more likely to get done. And I know when I guested on the Dragon Con report, and there were people, and they had been doing it for a while. Like, they've been live streaming for a couple of years now, and they really do have an audience that turns in to hear them talk. Now, they only do it once a month, so they're not like us, where we do it once a week and all year. But I think that whole making the commitment, people seeing it, it also gets some organic social reach if you would do better than I do and put out like an actual event on the Facebook and let people know that, hey, don't forget, we're going live. Like, we have our post. Now that I just found out my Discord is out in the middle of nowhere, I'm out wondering, what did I actually do?
Well, it is the holiday season.
It is.
And it is, well, okay, from what I understand, because I saw a funny meme on TikTok about it where it was shortly after elections. It's like, basically, it was a play on Russian interference, but the guy was actually talking about how the winds are coming down from Russia and it's going to change the temperatures in in the United States for 2 weeks. And everybody's talking about weather, but they made a play out of, electoral things and this and that and the other. And it was funny, but that's how I know we're getting a Russian cold right now. And it was like 24 when I woke up this morning, and I like it cold, but that's really cold. And
it's
yes,
cold.
Valencia, when you're up in Michigan, it is freaking snowing, but it ain't snowing here. And I don't live in Michigan, so I don't want to hear it. Okay.
It's cold here. It's very cold here.
She probably lives in Atlanta. I was just picking up. She's the only one that chatted. So winter, chicken dinner. I get to pick on you.
You're going to be our focus. I hope you're happy.
Actually, she's always our focus. I like making her
That's
laugh
true.
and entertain her. She's fun.
She loved the Pac-Man too. So I think I said that, but I'm going to say it again.
I really do think we should just a suggestion. What you do is really good, but I think it could be better if we just moved your winter solstice celebration to Bobby's house this year, and just do it all in his man cave with the movie theater and the arcade. You don't see putting a Kindle on top of the Pac-Man arcade and just playing.
Yeah, that requires me to take food with me. Oh, you are in Atlanta? Oh, that's exciting.
I think I knew that.
Did you know that? I should have known that.
I don't know. I feel like somewhere along the way she mentioned something about being local, but I'm not sure. But hey, local people, we can tease this. There's a new kind of podcasting event coming to Atlanta in spring of next year.
That's true.
That Tyra and I
1st.
have our elbows deep in. So it's going to
That's
be.
one way of putting it.
I mean, I'm not a car guy. We established this. And so I'm just kind of imagine when you're working on something, you're just,
Got the hood up. We're ready.
Yeah, whatever.
It's going to be fun. We're going to
No.
start asking for people to get involved. So just be aware.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a one-day thing, and it's something odd. Here's a good theme for tonight, unless things come on like they're supposed to. Timing of everything, right?
Timing.
And I've had, just kind of preface. Podcasting first started, right? And everything was coming up. Once I realized what this is and what it can do, and really kind of refined my chops about 5-6 years in, I was like, corporations, they need to do this. Not only will it put a human face on the business, right? If you do it right, and that's always been my thing. You do it right. It's not shilling, because shilling is shilling is shilling. It doesn't matter what you do with it. It's bad. Well, not bad, but it's you can see through. Authenticity is what I'm trying to get to.
Yes.
But also internally. It changes the ball game internally. Just instead of getting a memo or the president says, or they get on a screen once a year and say something, but it's for them to just talk through some reasonings or answer a question or something like that. It brings that human connection in to, I only have 40 to 50 employees, but there's still people I barely know, and they barely know me because I didn't hire them directly, right? My managers hired them, those kind of things. But I mostly do it once a month. I want to do it once a week, of like a Monday motivation or something. I just get on, talk about stuff that's going on in the company, put a fun spin on it, or address it, or give that encouragement, that connection. And so I started preaching that forever. I was about 10 years ahead of the game. Now businesses are absolutely publicly facing and internally doing those kind of things. I say that to say this, Tyra.
Okay, I knew you had a point.
Yeah,
Eventually.
you don't ask a storyteller to tell a story and then hit fast forward, people. What's wrong with you?
I know.
Who asked? I asked. Shut up. All right. So
Not saying.
I don't even think I ever shared this vision with you, but I've always thought, I don't want to give it away, right? But you know what I'm talking about, and we're going to vague book a little bit here. But I've always envisioned what we're trying to put on in the spring. And was like, man, I couldn't quite get all the pieces in my head to get the vision clear to explain it to people. But like, man, this would be a flow. And, you and I actually ran into each other and reconnected. Because we had known each other from DragonCon a little bit, but we really connected at that Facebook event. Yeah. It was for businesses. It was, I don't know. It
was right before COVID.
Is that when it was? Mm-hmm. When we were in line to get professional headshots, which was very cool that they had somebody there doing that as part of the
I still
package.
have mine.
And somebody in line for whatever, some rando was like, asked you, he's like, hey, is that your husband? You're like, no. But my husband is tall, and I don't even think I'd really met Shane at the time. I was like, how ironic is that? Because my wife is short, but no. I mean, we weren't. The body language wasn't there, unless we acted like we hated each other. I don't know what the person assumed. But anyway, that was a one-day event of here's how you do stuff. Now, we have cons for that, right? But I've always thought, wouldn't it be cool if we took this fun thing and put it in that format? And then our buddy Mark Deal came around, and it looks like we are on track to
have some fun. I know, and I'm excited. It's gonna be a great time. We're still locking stuff down, so that's why we're vague booking. But just know we're gonna rock it.
And I do one. Okay, I can't help but vague book a little bit because I get excited and I like to talk about things, but I've learned this about the world. People don't like to listen, right? And so what I'm saying, I'm trying, and this is where I'm going. So I'm trying to get you to catch the vision. Like, oh man, if we all focus on the vision, we can get there together. What they hear is like, you said you would do this. And I hate that because I have to stop talking, and I hate it.
Calm down, because, you want people to listen. Kaz is listening in her car. Because Kaz is Kaz.
Because Kaz is Kaz. And I appreciate that Kaz didn't say watching, because then lecture dad comes out.
Then, well, yes, we both would have.
Yeah.
So I am going to, I'd like to we're waiting for a guest, and I want to check and make sure that she's not in the wrong place.
Okay.
So I'm going to pop out, and I'll be right back.
Click on
Charles, entertain them for me.
All right. No, I'm sorry. There she goes. All right, now it's just us, everybody. And my beautiful look, I got Batman on one side, Cookie Monster on the other side, Nosuke in the middle. And let me tell you about this little thing called anime. It's amazing. It really is. I mean, storytelling is storytelling, and good storytellers tell great stories. So let me also tell you about how bad Taylor Swift is for the American economy.
Really?
Oh, wait, Tyra's back now.
Really? No. 500 million. I forget how much she pumped into New Orleans. Alone.
I legit just shifted gears from talking about storytelling to, as soon as you popped up, I just went, because here's the thing about a good creative partner. Sometimes they inspire you to be serious and heartfelt, and so Tyra can do that. But she laughs way too much at my buffoonery, so it really brings out the pokey. I'm going to just do a smack joke. But
$200 million in economic boost to New Orleans in a weekend. Just saying.
And where are they now? They're still the armpit of America. So, I was born in New Orleans. No, I was born in Orlando. My sister was born in New Orleans, but I lived in New Orleans for a while.
My uncle was a Catholic priest in New Orleans.
Wow. How many kids did he baptize in Katrina?
Oh, well, okay. So long story short, he was in his 80s, late 70s, early 80s. He was retired, and he waded through chest-high waters to be evacuated from Leo Cathedral. He ended up at the Superdome, where they evac'd him to Dallas and lectured them on behavior before they let them off the bus. And then we had to fly him home to Atlanta. He had a duffel bag, and that was it. He gave away all his food. He only had his medicine. Well, he's a priest, and people are hungry. You give them your food.
Yeah, I know, right? I was going to say, God, I hate that about priests. I get it.
I know. No, he was
the good priest. The good priest will
he was a great priest.
Hurt themselves to help other people.
Yes. He worked with dying AIDS and cancer patients. That was his last thing he did before Katrina, and then he ended up building a new cathedral in a nursing home and running it for almost until he passed away. So, actually, I think he may have ran it to the... Anyway, Uncle Royce was great. Love you, Unc. Miss you. He converted to Catholicism in his 40s. It's never too late to find your calling.
That's
I think they were raised Southern Baptist, would be my guess.
Okay.
I didn't ask. Of course, my parents, of course, waited for somebody to call and ask for Father Mitchel to see who I would hand the phone to. My dad or him.
Father Mitchel. Okay. Did
Father
you know
Mitchel.
He was Father Mitchell?
I knew he was I was 3, I think, at the time, 3 or 4.
Okay, that's a fun
and so
game to
they
play.
set
I'll
me
give her
up.
that.
They set up a toddler, and I just looked at them and said, "Who's Father Mitchell?"
I mean, if you're not setting your kids up for a joke at their expense, are you a good parent?
There's some truth on that one.
Let me ask you this as an educator.
I got a work text. I'm looking at it real fast.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It says, congratulations. You have been the best teacher this year, and you've won $1 million.
I would love that, but it's my colleague. No, we're good. It can wait. So what were you going to ask me?
As an educator, I've been in the classrooms with you. And, of course, I assume that when I'm in the classroom, I'm the loud, crazy one. You're always going to be the anchor. Like, no lie. I get a disclaimer before every speech I give at Kennesaw State University of, Charles is Charles, and he does not speak for the school or for myself, and just take it with a grain of salt. So I've never gone. I mean, she would tell me if I did something bad. I mean, I've
There was one time.
I've given some professional advice.
Yeah.
I skirted. I got distracted by something, and you're in the back going. I don't remember. It wasn't obvious. But
I was
you were
doing
basically going,
that was different. That was politics. I was like,
yeah, that was branching on the politics. I got distracted. When the kids got me.
The very first time you came.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're okay.
Mm-hmm, you talked about 420.
I thought. No, okay.
But it was relevant in you were going through a change of life.
I was talking about nerves.
Right.
And everyone the question. They were popping with the questions. I literally put Reaper up on the screen, and they're like, "How do I do a podcast? Because we have to do these interviews." And I was talking about here's the basics of it. Now, what other question have? And everything was about. I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, it's Sweetwater, Jen. You're correct. And they were talking about their nerves. And they're college kids, so I just gave them a piece of real advice about how to calm their nerves. And that was the first time I talked about, Charles does not speak for the school. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, she's right. I don't. So maybe we should put that in place. Can I come back? Okay, cool. I'll do better next time. And I did. I've done better every time.
Oh, you've done better every time. And it's okay. My bestie, the first time she came, she was fresh from coming home from New York. And the F-bombs were flying.
Oh, yeah, New York, yeah.
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 And it was a 9:30 at night class back when we had them. It was a different time, different place.
So along the lines of connecting with people, right? Yes. You can't be awesome together if you can't connect with people. I kept having an issue with connecting with this guy at work. He was a manager before I came along, and he's Italian from the Bronx, and he's a firefighter, and he's just got all kind of opposite of me stink on him, right? And you're a paramedic. It's a long story. I'm not going to get into the paramedic firefighter thing. It's not universal. It just was my experience. Anyway, so then I became the boss. And because I was suited for it, he didn't want to retire, so it wasn't an opportunity he could even take. And we didn't butt heads, but it just couldn't find a way to connect with him. And then I was just honest with him, and that helped connect some, but there was always something missing. And then I saw a TikTok of a comedian from the Bronx who says, we use 4-letter words as punctuation. And if I say, hey, you look good tonight, I mean you look like trash. But if I go, you're bleeping awesome, then I really mean, hey, you look good tonight. That kind of thing. I'm like, huh. And so I just sent it to him, just seen that video, and he's like, F&A. And ever since then, now we do both. Are professionals, so we know our audience, but for the most part, we have a very high threshold of when we won't say it, but it's always F, yeah, man, you effing, you're wearing that effing shirt like an effing man, aren't you? And everybody else and we're in Georgia, and we're not quite in Atlanta, we're in Athens, which is a little more rural than the city of Atlanta. And everybody's like, what is going on? And it's hilarious. But that was it. That made the connection.
Right.
Of talking the way he's used to connecting with people worked. So have you had an experience like that, Tyra, where you had to figure out, oh, I have to do this or that to have them understand what I'm saying?
Yes. I actually had a guest in class recently, and I had to really work at how I phrased questions and then giving him follow-up questions to actually get him to where we needed to be. And I've also learned that sometimes with people, a lot of people like you and I will just walk in, we can talk, no worries.
Yeah.
Other people, you really need to go through the process a little bit more. So
Sure.
I'm thinking of having him on a different podcast. And I know already that I'm going to have a pre-meeting with him and my producer, and we're going to walk through the questions, and he's going to have a really clear idea, because I know that he'll be much more likely to stay on target if I do that.
All right,
so,
everyone, stay on target. Stay on target.
Stay on target. So I keep trying. I know he's going to be great. He's got great information. He was very inspirational. But getting that out of him was, I just couldn't let him talk. I had to do those follow-ups and ask the next question, which is fine. That's why we're here.
I've only had to do that rarely, moderating, but I tell you, the process of how I do things and get into places, I used to be very opposed to that. We talked a little bit pre-show tonight about there's two types of interviews we won't do, and I won't drag that out. But I hate the idea. When I first got into motivational speaking, and I was trying to get on other shows, this idea of, hey, send us 10 questions that we can ask you. I was listening, excuse me, at the time I was still listening to a bunch of different NPR and radio talk shows. And I noticed a pattern there. It's like, oh, I'm going to ask this author these set of 5 questions. And then I'm going to ask this author, same set of 5. And
Yep.
so I was really opposed to it. But what I've learned is knowing what's expected from the host is a good thing to know. Right?
Yeah.
Going through that DragonCon spokesperson training, I was hired because I know what I'm doing. But I also understand that I have a lot to learn about how different ways of more ways to communicate and refine and practice, and learning that 2-minute speech, because everybody goes, oh my God, you're going to get to go on TV all the time. And I thought that too. And I went, should I though? And unfortunately that is not my part of the spokesperson team, because as we got more into it, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't. I just
give me a microphone.
Wake up. You know, you're on a morning show. One, I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. to go on the show.
Nobody
okay?
wants to be up at 4 a.m.
Right.
Not even the morning show people.
Right. So I have to go on and be energetic at that point. No, which I don't, unless I am literally last on that list. So if something happens and I go through all the other people, I might have to do it, but I'm good. DragonCon and I are both in agreement. That is not my forte, because I don't want to be like, so Charles, DragonCon's about costumes. Tell us about that. And I'm like, could you like have some life or something? What do you do? I feel like Robin Williams just wanting to bounce off the couch. What's going on here? So all that being said,
Little concern.
I did learn how to answer questions and read the audience and go, instead of going to, like I've done now, instead of going to a 5-minute diatribe that loses people, or you laugh and forget where we started, I go,
Valencia's
here's
asleep.
an
So's
answer.
Krause.
Yeah.
Krause has veered off the road. It's like, Charles, you're going to be the reason she has an accident. Anyway.
Look, if anybody in this world thinks that you're going to fall asleep listening to me, I need to meet that person. Because if there's nothing else, I'm going to make you forget your problems of the day. All that being said, prepping people, it was, man, we did an interview, you and I. I know you're around for it. I'm not sure if you were on it with me, but we did an interview with a team, and asking one of the team members question. It was like, boom, because I'm always do, and I can even slow it down. We did
that was
finding
on
the
Dragon?
stories.
It was on DragonCon Report.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember, but you were on finding the stories with me, and so when we're telling a story, we find a pace together. And as you have some crescendos and some whatever, you know. So I can pace it to a person. I understand not everything I do has to be, 8 time. That's where I like to be.
You do not have to be running NASCAR.
Yeah.
You can be doing, a yellow flag lap.
But that interview, I was like, oh my God, I asked you a question and come on with this. Can you keep up with me a little bit? So then I realized
I remember
vetting
this
is a good
different.
thing.
Different.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It wasn't a DragonCon report. It was I know which one it was.
But it's like, so you what you said about prepping that guest, and I assume you paid attention and learned some of that on the fly with this guest. Like, yes. Much like with me, there's times when you will jump in and just start going and lecturing and podcasting. You don't do it nearly as much as podcasting, but you do it when I'm lecturing. Hey, let's look at this website or whatever. I'm like, cool.
I have a plan.
I am very much on the spectrum that way of like, once I just get locked in, I hate dead space. I'm just going to keep going until somebody stops me. Ding, ding.
Yeah, no, you got to learn how to direct.
Yeah. I take direction fairly well now, I think.
I will say this. I think you have improved greatly.
I will take that. Thank you.
So, So if you're wondering why occasionally I'm off looking in the sunset, I am looking for our guest that was supposed to be with us tonight. We're a little concerned that hopefully something hasn't happened with her and her family, but just know if you were here for Olivia, we're hoping that she will still pop in. But if she doesn't, you get Charles and I. What an amazing... I'm so sorry.
I never apologize for me.
I know. One of us should.
Are we married? Because that felt very much like a married statement right there.
You could be I call you my con husband. We were at Conjuration, and I used him and Joe occasionally as my con husband. Uh-oh. Okay, you're on. What's Valencia telling us?
Valencia says...
is that how you say it? Is it Valencia, or are you being...
No, you're asking me how I say it. That's how I'm saying it because it's fun for me to say it. I'm sure Valencia... The orange is how you say it.
Will you let us know? Because I feel bad.
But
go ahead.
One of my things is to take a name and just go with it. So, I could call her Burns. A few years ago, I became friends with some people and eventually became a guest on their show, and I had nothing to promote, but they were happy to have me on. We talked about current events for that moment, and she just says, yes, it is, even though there's multiple ways I've said her name.
No,
yes,
she means I am right.
Nope.
It's like the orange.
It's canon. She just said any way we want to say it.
That is not what she said.
No. That's exactly.
We need to have her on here.
This is what she said.
Did she just volunteer to come on the show?
I think so.
I think so. Just you wait. You're going to get a DM before you know it. Valencia. And that's the best kind of shows, when you just have conversations, I think. Like I've done a lot of shows where I didn't have anything that I was promoting like right that very minute, and just talking. I love that kind of stuff.
Here's how backwards I am. I was about to say I almost never have anything to promote because I think of selling a book or go to my site and buy my product. I am the product. And so I realize that's how backwards I am, because I'm like, I'll just show up and talk. Won't say where you find me or anything. I'm like, cool, had a fun time, guys. And then afterwards, like, oh, I guess I should have told you my link or something. And they might forget that. So, yeah, I know I always have something to promote, but I never have anything to sell yet. I'm thinking on it.
We're thinking on it.
But, yeah, I just love a good conversation. And I have developed, because let me tell you something. I wish I knew who this quote came from. I honestly could have been Gandhi. I don't know. But I had a motivational friend of mine say it to me a lot of times. And so it's just, to me, it's his quote, but I know it's not his quote. Be the change you want to see in the world. So every time I came across something that I was doing, like motivational speaking or, putting on a conference or trying to write a book, anytime I came across the ickiness of it, at first I'm like, I really don't want to be in that world, because I really do hate people who just get up on a stage and sell you a one-size-fits-all platform. But then I also think about the people like Dave Ramsey, who didn't invent, math and finances, but however he presented it resonated with me, and it got me in a new headspace, and it worked for me, So I think about, what do I want to do to change that? The worst interview I ever had on was this guy who wanted to sell his book, and we told him, look, we're not going to ask you these questions that you sent. That's not what we're about. This is what our show is about. We're going to show who you are, and we will promote your book. And he just kept hammering it in. Then he tried to get on politics. And literally, because my partner was way too nice, he didn't want to cut off the interview, I was like messaging him, like, we need to stop this interview. This is not our show. It was live like you and I. And eventually, Tyra, I do this. I turn over to my other screen. I start playing Angry Birds or something. And the audience is seeing it's not about, I'm not even acknowledging. And it was just bad. But I became the change I wanted to see. Yeah. So I have no problems being up front with somebody. And Tyra, I pre-discussed this before we ever decided to have guests on. Like, hey, how are we going to handle that? Because I've become really, really good and adept at working and promoting things, like you do on Geek Meet Social.
We get it in there. There's no worries to get it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I should be having videos out. I got to do that. Anyway, break is coming. Break is coming, people. There's going to be videos. Well, there's not going to be videos because Tyra does this on camera and building bold connections. But no, she doesn't do her own podcast on video yet.
I mean, it's your choice, right? Whatever fits and flows.
Yeah. Sarah Rose is here. By the way, I do have to say something. Valencia said we can call her V. I have a problem with that because I have a wonderful man by the name of Bernard who is also called V, and I have known V for literally decades. So if I call you V, I'm going to be thinking of this really kind of short black man who makes really great drinks. And then I'll be very confused.
See, I also have a problem with calling you V because I grew up in the 80s and that miniseries scared the crap out of me. So I don't like lizard people ripping skin off their own face. We're good.
Whoa! Oh, this is a family show. We don't talk about that.
You didn't watch V in the 80s?
No.
I'm honestly surprised because of the nerd that you are.
I'm a nerd, but I don't like the.
You know what I'm talking about, though? At least.
Yeah, I know. No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, see, I got to watch like the first. I think there was a 2-hour each night. No, okay, Sarah. I thought Sarah said she thought I was thinking about this. No, yeah, V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
There's that too. But I mean, that was a really long reach for a joke, by the way. But I nailed it, and I was only allowed to watch like the first 30 or 45 minutes, and then when it's all 80s prosthetic, so it's obvious to adults. It's a plastic mask, whatever. But to my, however, 8-year-old brain, I freaked out. Didn't see the end of it. Didn't see the rest of it. Have no idea if the heroes won or anything. I just had nightmares forever about faces coming off and there's a lizard person.
I'm still going to have, just from you talking about it.
What if?
Thanks, Charles.
What if then the lizard mask comes off and it's Taylor Swift?
Then it's brilliant.
There you go.
So we have to catch people up. Sarah Rose is in the house saying hi to us. And we now have a name for Valencia. It's Val. I can do Val. Can you do Val?
I can.
All
I've got
right.
a question
Hi,
for
Val.
Sarah.
Ooh.
She is a theater kid. Right?
I've heard that.
I know she's already going to sing Wicked. I just want to know if one of two things. It's a part A, part B question, but you only get to answer one of them. Part A, one, when you saw Wicked, how hard was it to not sing along? Or part B, are you one of those butt faces that sings along anyway? That's all I want to know. Because I understand it's going to be slightly difficult when I make it over to the theater to see it to not sing along with some of the songs, but also not that hard because in my real life, I am almost as introverted as it comes. It seems like I realize that I'm like an extra. Man, somebody coined a great phrase. I could not remember the term, but it's a extroverted introvert.
Yes,
basically.
yes. I'm one of those too.
And they've somehow had a great play on words where it mixes it together and you hear it instantly and go, oh, I get that. But like every time you see me, and I do love doing this, but the moment this is off, go check my TikTok channel. I haven't posted in, I don't know, weeks. I haven't done a live and I couldn't tell you how long because I got all these ideas and they just like to stay there. They just, you know.
It's exhausting to get them from here out here, I think. Just so we know. So Sarah said, ooh, it was kind of hard, but no more than seeing the show on stage. I'm hardcore in the not singing camp.
Good on you.
I am on that camp too. But I think what they should do is have special showings where people can sing. Sing-along showings. I think that's what they should do. Krause is, of course, behaving appropriately. A shocker. I mouth along myself.
I mean, honestly, for me, Defying Gravity is going to be the only hard one to not sing along with.
Popular.
Yeah. I mean, nothing against it.
It's me.
But, I mean, okay, I guess technically it's me. I want to be popular too, but I also was like, I am popular and I kind of don't like it. When I was in high school, kind of nobody, it's a, emo kid thing. It's like, nobody really knows who I am. It's because I wasn't, anyway, it doesn't matter. So that one didn't resonate, but Defying Gravity, let me tell you. Now, I already have a placeholder on what you haven't seen to be the one that does Wicked with Travis.
Oh, you see, Shane wants to see it. Like, not me, Shane.
Interesting. I would not peg Shane for that.
Well, my boy was in band.
So he went to band camp. That's not Broadway.
I don't think he ever went to
they're
band
not
camp.
Because
he was at football camp.
gravity. You know.
I don't know. He says he wants to see it.
What do you do in band?
Not sax. Trumpet, maybe? Fuck. I don't. Excuse me. Hi, I'm Tinkerbell. I'll send him a text and ask.
You don't have to.
It's not that so Sarah Rose just said, why don't you want to see it? Okay, so true confessions, and I had to confess this to my my Discord women's group that I'm a part of. There's like 10 of us. I have not read the book, which I've been told don't bother. I have not seen the musical, which I've heard is wonderful. And so I don't have any emotional connection to the film, but I do want to see it because I think the actresses are awesome that they chose, and everything I've heard has been great. So I will probably see it. I don't know if we're going to see it in the theaters or not. But there's my true confession. I did hear about things that were in that book. It is not for children. Just saying.
I mean, I'm not surprised there's a book. I didn't know it was a book. I only knew about the Broadway. And you'll hear, the reason I bring up Travis, you'll hear me tell this story again, because he always asks, okay, first, what's your relationship to this material? Glee. My buddy got me to watch Glee, and I was like, oh my God, it looks so stupid. And to be fair, for where I was in life, it was stupid.
Yeah,
but I got into it because it's actually really well written, and the music, their covers and stuff was amazing. And in the debut of Glee, they're all applying for the Glee Club, and I don't remember anybody's names, but the man, I don't even know how to say. I hate when people go the black guy, because it wasn't black, but the gay kid. I cannot remember his name,
it's
but
okay.
he was. Everybody had a stereotype, right?
I'm not going to remember the name because I did not watch Glee.
And then what became the main female character. Well, she was. I mean, it was her monologue that you started with and all this other. They're both trying out for Glee Club, and they both do Defying Gravity. And I never had heard it. Never had heard of Wicked, didn't. And just the emotion that both of those actors and actress put into it for the show, and the way it was mixed, and the way they cut back and forth to each other, just resonated in my soul and broke something open. As far as I also want to defy gravity. I mean, I just got the meaning of the song instantly, and that was my connection. Then I went and did more research, and who doesn't like Chenoweth and Idina Menzel? Menzel and Chenoweth are just a powerhouse team.
Yeah,
which both of them ended up on Glee in cameos, not as themselves, as characters, but yeah, it was fun.
So Sarah tells us that
Kurt, thank you, Sarah Rose.
And Jen actually loved the Wicked book. So, yes, I will go read that. I have it downstairs.
Well, so I guess Jen likes a dark book, which I kind of do too, honestly.
So, and I just would like to make the record correct. Alto and bass saxophone. He played saxophone.
Oh, man, there was just so many jokes.
But he didn't get to march in band because, well, he played football. So he never got to do that kind of thing. So Kaz says, to like Wicked, you need to understand Eeyore to like it. I have a couple of Eeyore friends, so I bet I can get it. I'm going to try it.
So
after I finish the
Eeyore
Fantasy
was
Cozy
my
yesterday.
stage debut in community theater, so there you go.
Aww.
I was Eeyore. I think I have to
You're more of a Tigger.
I know, but I was, for whatever reason, I was cast as Eeyore for this community. I
could see you being able to do the grunt part.
Yeah.
I could see that. We'll buy it.
Yeah.
Favorite. Okay, so while we're on musicals, favorite musical.
Les Mis.
Really?
Oh yeah, I am Jean Valjean. Yeah, 56039. I always get the numbers wrong, but yeah, the whole redemption, just changing yourself, coming from the horribleness of what you did before in previous life. Yeah, you think my jokes are bad? Some of the stuff I've thought, like when I was on Two Guys, I said the thing you didn't like because
Charles.
Les Mis is my beast.
Okay, so Tyra likes happy things.
Like King and I? Is that your
King and I's okay. I'm actually sitting here thinking, what is my
Camelot.
favorite? I like. So
Not West Side Story, because that's dark.
Yeah, no. I was definitely more of a Rodgers and Hammerstein kind of. I will tell you my favorite musical. It is Mame. Anti-Mame. Anti-Mame. There's 2 versions of the movie. There's one with Lillian Russell, and there's one with Lucille Ball. No. Different time, different place. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And it is amazing. They're both the movies are great. It's probably, I would rank it as my top. I don't know. I love Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Oklahoma.
See, I don't like Oklahoma because I ran sound at a community theater for that show, and it was actually well done. But hearing Oklahoma a million times for 3 weeks, I'm good.
Sarah Rose says her favorite musical is Peter Pan, not the Disney one. And Kaz says, I'm a Sondheim, not a Weber, but Les Mis is my top. So she is both of us together.
Yeah. Which actually makes sense. She
it does.
was right in between us and a lot of things. So
yeah, no, Kaz keeps Charles and I on the path. We are so on the path because of Kaz. She is great. And okay, just checked my email again. That's what I'm doing.
So I've
today.
got well, I mean, it's past time now.
Truth.
But I got a question for you. It goes into.
I have answers.
I hope so. What, and I have a point to asking these things. I might lose my way, but I'll get back to it. But what is one of your first memories of meeting me or connecting with me?
Oh, I did not meet you until I was going on to the panel, my very first panel, which was search engine optimization. And
With Carl Dodge, who you will never text back.
Yes.
Which I love that meme. That's a great real life meme right there.
It's true. He has the word, like, he has horrible timing. So I'm on a panel where I'm scared. First off, I know SEO, but I know people who are SEO gods. Like, in the industry, people look at them and go, oh, great SEO god. So I'm not that person. I know SEO enough to get myself into trouble. And I'm on this panel. It's my first being on a panel at Dragon Con. I've done other types of panels at other conventions about science fiction and fantasy and copyright and trademark and things like that. And I meet you, and you're huge. And I, of course, say the F word.
First off, that's right. That was like, and you had to put money into the swear jar.
No, this was before the money part. There was no money.
Oh, okay.
And nobody told me I couldn't say the F word before 9 o'clock. These are important tidbits of information that people should say. But that was the first time you called me Tinkerbell. And you said, Tinkerbell can get away with that, but I can't. And I was like, yeah, that tracks.
I mean, and
I made everybody laugh, which is what you do.
Which is what you do.
And then, of course, actually, Val, you'll appreciate this. V came up to me afterwards and said, yeah, I heard you said the F word. I'm like, did everybody know but me?
That's
so, yeah,
funny.
that's what I remember meeting you. And you were very larger than life. And I was just trying to find my way. It's been hard for me to kind of embrace the podcaster, entertainer, talk host lady that I am. It took me a while to embrace that a little bit. And I think I still am, but I'm getting closer.
Well, and that's exactly why I asked. I didn't know it'd come out of the first story. I thought I might have to go, okay, what about when you first had me do something? But yeah, that whole overwhelmingness that can be me. Would you ever would have thought in that moment that not only would you get to where you are with moderating and speaking and proposing panels and doing different cons, but also sitting right adjacent, not only holding your own, but keeping me in check easily.
Who knew that was going to be my job?
Well, yeah, but you know what I'm saying is I was kind of wanting to get to the what do you think in your educator bullet points that you can give? What do you think was your path to get from holy crap, this is a thing to where you are now?
I think one of the things I would say is walk off the cliff every now and then. Every now and then you just got to walk off the cliff. I'm a big proponent of it. You know, everything does not have to blow up to get things better. I'm a big proponent of you can be prepared. You don't have to just do the thing without anything. I'm a big proponent of you can do the thing and do it as, ease into it as easy as you can. I never would have thought I would be doing a podcast for my college. But because I had a podcast experience, because of doing stuff at Dragon and doing other presentations throughout my time, because I've been doing workshops for like the American Marketing Association, for Romance Writers of America and Georgia Romance Writers for years. I just never had translated that into doing this. And so this to me is like, I love talking. I love hosting. Had no idea that really what I am is a theater kid who wanted to have a show. You know, because when we started this part and I really started pushing it, this wasn't supposed to be me. It was supposed to be other people. And just because of how things worked, I ended up being on camera and being a part of the live stream more than I thought I would. I thought I'd be turning it over, running the back end and stuff like that. And sometimes you just have to embrace where life takes you. And now when I I was at a lunch the other day with somebody, and I noticed that when I slipped into performer mode, I could literally feel it and see it, because all of a sudden what was coming out of my mouth was very, I don't want to say polished, but was very professional. And I'm like, oh, that's that performer mode that I now switch on. And occasionally I have to remember to switch it off.
Sarah might be right. We're all
She may
theater
be.
kids at heart.
She may be.
You know, I listened to Smartless, and it's 3 celebrities that.
Oh,
that
yeah. We've
talk
talked
to each
about
other.
this one before.
But it's essentially how much it comes up. I mean, not all the time. Like, they're not always harping on it, but it does come up often enough that the truth in their life is that they're all a little surprised that people give a crap about what they do.
Yeah.
No matter how celebrated they are, no matter how good, provenly good they are at what they do, they're all a little surprised, and they all admit that they need the attention, you know, and they love to ask a question of other actors, writers, whatever, that come on the show. Well, if you weren't doing X, Y, Z, what would you be doing? If you weren't acting, what would you be doing in life? And it's always kind of a hard, but sometimes people are like, oh, I'd be a doctor. I was in med school and this happened or whatever. And none of them can think of anything else. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense to me, because I've got nothing else. I mean, everything I've ever done has been running my mouth and putting on. And you talk about that performer mode, but
It's
honestly,
teacher mode too.
and it depends on how you're using it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's definitely times, I bet you, if you really kind of start feeling it, you'll go into moderator mode in a conversation. You'll go into entertainment mode, where you're just gonna, even if it's just you and Shane in the car, you know. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, I crack him up.
And that's how I have found, like, when I'm just at home and, again, in my head, just introvert, and I just go where I'm not, or I'm focused on things or worrying about issues and not entertaining, things get really kind of turbulent, is a good word around the house. And like, all right, so I'm going to, because sometimes for me, entertaining Charles is a doesn't care Charles, which is why I love watch. I study crowd work comedians all the time, especially the roasters. Nate Jackson's one of my favorites. He is a really funny guy, where he sells out arenas, and he actually has a VIP ticket that you buy that gets your wristband that says "Roast Me." I mean, it's a big one you can see from the stage, so you're a volunteer, and he has a rule. And he explains it. So Tyra, just in case I ever take you to one of these shows, his rule, he explains it beforehand, but his rule is, if I look over, you look down, no harm, no foul. If I start talking and you realize what's going on, you look down again. But once I've hit that first joke and you're not looking away, it's on, and it can go anywhere. See, it kind of comes full circle to what we're talking about, preparing interviews, the past that where we got. You talked about it doesn't have to blow up the change. You can be prepared. You can, even when you don't know what's coming, you can build in yourself the things that you do.
Yeah.
When you know the playground you're playing in, anybody can play. I think that even goes into the theater kids. I'm sure there are people who go, oh, I can't sing. Well, of course we need props. We need this. We need a stage manager. We need to,
right.
And it's a team, and everybody gets celebrated when the audience is clapping, right? They feel it. Everybody. I hope nobody sits back on the soundboard, which is used to be it still is one of my favorite seats in the house, is the soundboard, and just sit there. And I hope they don't go, oh, they don't know what I did. No, everybody knows what you did. The mics didn't mess up. Nothing went wrong. You were a part of that clapping there. And I need that, right? I need that interaction and that connection, but
It's
you
important.
have to bring those aspects of yourself everywhere. And I'm coming back to, that performer mode is when I get into the snarky jokes, the crowd work in my own house. That's when my family seems to have the most fun. Now, obviously, if you keep that on all the time,
Yeah, no, you gotta be
then
careful.
it just gets old. But when you don't do it, and which is my case, like I don't do my videos. I don't do a lot. I just get to, and it's not a
Oh.
tiredness. It's just a, I don't know how else to describe it.
No, I during grad school I taught, and at one point I had to not teach and do research for a semester, and I was miserable, absolutely miserable. I actually wrote my chair at the time a letter about. I didn't like this. I didn't realize back then. By the way, if you're in a doctorate program, do not tell your chair that you love to teach. You like to do research. I just want to make that clear. But it crushed my soul. And it crushed my soul when my contract wasn't renewed at Shorter College, and I didn't know when I was going to get to teach again. So before I got the gig at Kennesaw, and not being able to do that just broke me. And so I know that no matter what I do in life, I'm going to be teaching, whether that's seminars, workshops, KSU, doesn't matter. Tyra's going to be teaching. I will probably die teaching somebody something one day. But what I've learned as I've gotten older is there's different ways I can teach. And,
Exactly.
and there's different ways. You said something about switching on the moderator. Like sometimes when I see people having conversations, like if I'm part of a big conversation and somebody gets a point overlooked, I'll go back to it for them and I'll ask them a clarifying question, or I'll say, hey, Sally said, and I do that. And I've done it for years without realizing that what I'm actually doing is moderating, which is probably good. The dinner guest didn't realize I was moderating them, but sometimes people aren't heard. And as our type of people, we can help people be heard.
Yeah. 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 That's the thing, man, is at its heart, because of who we are. And I want to reiterate, I don't get to say it enough, I believe, is that the thing that changed my life the most was hearing this quote. Can't find whoever said it. I know who said it to me, and I've modified it a little bit. As unknown. I don't know where it originally came from. But understand, what you do is not who you are. But understanding who you are will change everything that you do. And at its heart, you and I are educators. And so at our hearts, we're educators for various reasons and various modes. But at Be Awesome Together, at its heart of a show, it's an educational show. I forgot I did not kill my Discord, and so I'm hearing beep beeps. I don't know if you guys are.
What, we have beep beeps?
That. No, it was Hammond. It's all good.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know if it came through on the broadcast.
Kaz is taking care of it for us. We don't even have to take care of it. Because that's why we love Kaz.
So, talking about
one of the
going
many
into
reasons.
the unknown. We were talking about the prep. And that's what I love about working with the right people is Tyra and I came into this with a whole different game plan because we had a whole different thing planned tonight. And it started off like, okay, where are we going to go? And then you just trust the process. And the process takes us to a moment. But that's life.
No, it's
right?
true. It's true.
You were prepared for when the call came to say, hey, can you be on this SEO panel? And
I knew enough to get people in trouble.
Oh, I know a bunch of other people. I know a bunch of people who can do it better than me. You didn't do any of that other stuff. You just came in and said, I'll do my best. And we underestimate ourselves by thinking that our best is not good enough. It can be good enough. And guess what? Most of the time, it's better than most people. And I say this all the time at Dragon Con.
This is true.
Sitting at that table, unless it's the imposter syndrome panel, get rid of the imposter syndrome, because I guarantee you're sitting there thinking you don't know what you're talking about, and everybody else in the audience is looking at you going, oh, man, everything you said just really helped me figure out my next step or change my life or influence me or this or that. you know, and it's life is prep if you pay attention to it. My wife said to me, she got mad at me one day because I just accepted it about myself, but everything's a lesson. And she got mad because I was lecturing the kids again. Everything I tell the kids is a lesson of something. I point out, learn something from this. And she, not everything's a lesson. I'm like, I thought about it for a minute. You're not an argument. I just thought about it and like, you know what? It is. Because the life I went through, that is what I believed. And I ran into so many problems over and over and over again because either I didn't listen to the people trying to tell me something or people just weren't telling me crap and let me run into a freaking wall. And you know what? I'm going to overcompensate for that. So but life is, if you pay attention, man, why do you think we resonate with the hero story? It doesn't matter if it's a video game, a movie, anime, whatever, but somebody, usually a younger person, is out,
Call to
whatever's
action.
going on. They're not really fit in or anything.
Guess
And
what?
then,
Finish your story. I know. We're going to bring her in. We can't hear you yet, Olivia. Just so you know, we're going to hear you in just a second. Charles is going to bring you in.
I am.
We're
I'll
so
finish this
excited.
thought, 'cause I hate when people start a thought and don't finish it. Go ahead.
Okay, finish your thought, and then we're going to bring her in.
So we're talking about the prep. And if you just pay attention to your life and a new opportunity you never saw coming shows up, you are ready for it, as we are ready for talking to you. I think this might be the second or third time I've ever personally sat down with a filmmaker, producer, and actress. We have on Olivia Dunkley.
I hope we said the name right.
Yeah, he did. That was perfect.
Yay.
Yeah. Hi, guys. How are you?
Fine. Time
Good.
zones are hard.
Yes, I'm so sorry, you guys.
I can't. We have a friend that works in Cyprus, and I have no idea. He's been there for a year now. I still don't know what time it is there. Throw a dart.
He's
like,
I had it all worked out, and then it all fell apart. It's everything's.
It's okay.
I'm so glad.
Well, I'm excited because I did not get a chance to watch it beforehand, but I so cannot wait to watch your holiday movie.
Which one? Are you talking about the new one that's out or the old one?
The old one, because I'm a rom-com writer.
Yes.
So I am all over A Holiday Boyfriend. It just looked delightful. And I know that's the first one that you made, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I had decided that I was tired of trying to get roles in Hollywood. And so I was going to make my own movie.
Good for
and
you.
I had no idea what I was doing, but I had worked on enough projects, I guess, where I could piece it together. I had a good partner help me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway, it in the end, even though I think it was on a very strict budget, people have really responded very positively to it. It's been a very good experience. So.
And then you made another one.
Yes.
I was like, so you learned that you liked it and you made Sleigh Ride. And I think that's probably more up Charles's speed than mine.
Well,
I'm not a horror girl.
Me, honestly, I am not a horror girl either.
Sure?
It was a friend of mine. We were at lunch and we worked on several projects together. I don't know if Hammond told you any of the history, but we have a mutual friend who we'd gone to lunch and he said to me, I'd just gotten A Holiday Boyfriend out and I talked to my distributors and they said, oh, you have a holiday horror film? And I was like, no, I do not have a holiday horror film. And they're like, well, if you ever do, we'd be interested in that. And I was like, okay, well, I never will. And then I went to lunch with Bob Scott, my friend, Robert Griffith, who has actually just passed away this past year.
Oh.
And he and I were sitting there and he said, well, I have a holiday horror film. And he told me this little idea for this short film. It was a short film in his mind. And I liked it so much. I was like, well, we're going to make that a movie. So,
it is an interesting path from genre-ish, right? Going from Hallmark Holiday to Blumhouse Productions.
Yes. And honestly, for me, go ahead.
I would watch that mashup of Blumhouse does Hallmark Holiday. I'd watch.
So that was Robert Griffith. You guys would be such good friends. He was always about like, let's take a holiday boyfriend, and then in the end, she cuts him up into little pieces and decorates him with a Christmas tree. Like, that was me. Honestly, that was
That's
his
fabulous.
whole thing. Like, and honestly, in Sleigh Ride, we decorate the Christmas tree with body parts. It's all his
Awesome.
thing. So
That's funny.
What a
yeah,
great tribute.
yes, he
Uh,
was a very good friend. It has been very sad to lose him, actually.
Those are it's always hard, but I mean, think about you got something that you're always going to remember him by.
Yes,
and it's
lots of things.
very interesting in the world how topics come together. So in the time that we were doing the show before you jumped on here, we got around to how life prepares you for things, how you look for opportunities, go in different directions. I would dare say, with what little I know about Hollywood, somebody may have looked at you in your career and go, what makes you think you can direct a movie? So what did prepare you to go, I'm tired of not getting these roles because people aren't giving it to me. I'm going to do my own thing.
Honestly, it was, I just had gotten fed up and working on enough of my own things. I'd made a couple small projects, and even though they didn't do particularly well, I just got really determined. There's that thing where you just get really determined and you decide, okay, I'm going to do this thing. And then it was really hard. The nice thing about it was that I didn't wait for anybody else to bring in money. If you try to sell your project or you try to pitch it or you try to get, it seems like nothing ever happens. It just is such a select few that get their projects made. So I decided to fund it myself. And then I had to do it my own way, right? So we shot 3 days at a time, and then we would take like a 6-week or a 2-month break in between so I could make more money. And then we would shoot 3 days, and then we would make more money. And then we would shoot through. Do you know what I mean? And so then it took over a year to shoot it. But miraculously, it came together with the magic of B-roll. It all came together. And it was a lovely experience. Fortunately, I had done enough smaller projects. I'd created some smaller projects, and I had brought in other directors. And I found that they had a different vision than I did. And I didn't love that. I wanted to be in total creative control of my projects. Not that I'm a control freak.
No. We have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Zero.
Right. And so I was like, I don't want someone else to tell me what I'm doing with my script and so then I just started directing, and it has just been a really good formula for me to produce it, to write it, produce it, and then star and direct in it. And then I'm in charge of all the post as well. It just works really well for me.
It's a lot of work, though.
It's a lot of work. And this time I was able, with Sleigh Ride, I did bring in some friends to help with set decoration and costumes and props and all those things that are so hard to keep track of, the moving pieces on set. And so I was really fortunate to have some good friends there who I've worked with in the past on other things. And anyway, it worked out really good. So
excellent. Well, and you just said that you wrote them, which I did not realize. So that's awesome. And you're getting ready to write a book?
I'm actually, oh, that's good. Yes, I'm actually writing a book. So I'm one of those works in progress.
Yeah, me too.
I was one of those people who could make nothing work out for me. I couldn't do the simplest things. I couldn't get married or have kids or
you've done that for sure.
Make any money. It took me so I did all this work. I did classes and courses and read books, and I did therapy and all these things, and I had all these wonderful breakthroughs that have changed my life. And now I'm happily married, and I have 2 kids, and I've made a couple movies, and things are starting to go the way I've always wanted them to and always hoped that they would. And so now I'm writing a book about those breakthroughs in the hopes that they will help other people have similar success. For me, it's more about that your life goes the way you want it to instead of always being stuck or frustrated. So,
well, and I think sometimes you have to learn that there's a time, was it a season for everything?
Yes.
And sometimes it's not the season time that we think it is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But for me, I was always like, is there ever going to be?
Oh, yeah.
Like, are we ever going to get? So then I was really lucky that I did a lot of the work. The work, I think, made
you bring that
for me. So,
that's what we're talking about, right? You get prepped, you do the steps, you learn things. And I don't I'd be surprised if you do. I don't think you'd have a off the cuff answer because it seemed like you were born to. I gotta create. I've got to move on. But the question is, that I find always interesting, is well, if you didn't write and film and produce and act, what would you have been doing otherwise? I know you went to BYU. What'd you go to BYU for?
So I was a dance major
I was going to say she was a dance major, I
at
bet.
BYU, and
I didn't know Mormons could dance.
We can. They let us. They allow that.
He just got a Charles from me.
So my mom taught dance in our home when I was little. So I've taken dance since I was 3 years old, and
Your whole
she
life.
stopped when she had my brother Jordan, which was her Benjamin, Olivia, Abby, Robert, her fifth child. Okay.
That's awesome.
So she then finally stopped teaching dance, and then she put me in other dance classes, and I've danced my whole life. And I came to LA after dancing in Vegas. So I danced in Vegas professionally in a couple of the shows at the major casinos, and that was so fun and so satisfying. But I really wanted to pursue acting. So I came to LA and, of course, immediately started a dance company.
As you do.
And danced for the next 10 years. And actually,
oh my
I
gosh.
stopped dancing until the pandemic. That was finally decided. And then I had a couple of babies. And so then I was like, okay, I guess I'm done. I mean, I guess I'm done dancing.
I bet you dance again.
We'll see. I still dance. We still dance at home. We do dance parties with the babies.
That's good.
Yeah. It's fun.
Well, and so you've traveled over the world dancing, really.
I did. Yeah.
What's your favorite place that you got to travel to?
Okay, so when you travel with a singer, it works like this. You get to the hotel in the afternoon, and then you perform that night, and then you may get some sleep before you have to wake up and leave and travel to the next country, because we did like Germany and Paris and all these different places, like right there, they're close together. And so then we traveled all the time in between. So we didn't get to experience a lot of things, but one of the places we went was Dubai. And if you've ever been to Dubai, it is back then, it was probably 7-8 years ago. So it's been a while since I was in Dubai, but all of my girlfriends were like, we're not going out on the street. And I was like, I'm not staying in the hotel. So then I'm down out on the streets by myself, walking around. And when you're there aren't women on the street. There was only men kind of everywhere. It was really an interesting culture, and I love the Middle Eastern culture because I've been connected to that here in Los Angeles.
Well, and you also belly dance.
Yeah, because I'm a belly dancer. So Armenians, Iranians, I just love them all. We've just they're just wonderful people with rich traditions and family lives, and they're just wonderful people. But it was a little intimidating to walk around a city where there were no women on the street, all men, but I still did it. And there were probably one of the main things I remember is all of the boats that they had. There was where we were, there were all these boats lined up along the marina, and they were all made of wood.
Ooh.
So interesting, these old wooden boats. Anyway, that was
not what you would think of in Dubai, actually.
No, it was really interesting.
And I think you just demonstrated how you can like make your own films. I'm going to go out and walk by myself where there are no other women. No. Yeah, I think this is a part of your personality we're seeing here.
You know, it's funny because there are so many people who are far more qualified, right? Like that they know about the equipment and they know what they're doing, and I just on sheer will. I mean, I had a little bit of experience and I built up to it, but honestly, I think to myself, it's so interesting that I'm making movies and here are these people who would be so much better at it than I am. And instead they're helping me with mine, or they're working in my films, or do you know what I mean? And I'm like, this is so interesting because you guys should be doing this because you know what you're doing and I'm just winging it. And lucky that, I kind of have a gift for storytelling. That's my thing. I think of myself as a storyteller. So hopefully that's true.
So what's the biggest difference you see in telling story in dance versus writing versus film?
So dancing for me was always about, well, I shouldn't say always, because that's not true. When I started dancing, of course, it was on the stage, and it was a performance, and you're in costume and with your makeup, and you're putting on almost like a play for people, and the goal is always joy, right? Like the goal is
Yeah.
entertainment, it's joy, it's to provide something for people. And then when you start belly dancing, you do it in all different formats. Sometimes like if you're dancing in a restaurant, sometimes the people aren't paying attention at all to you, and I had to just remind myself, like, it's not about me. I'm here to provide something for them, and if they want to enjoy it, then that's up to them, and if they don't want to enjoy it, then that's okay too. They need to enjoy it, their evening, the way that they want to. But another thing about belly dancing was that you dance with the audience, and I had never experienced that before. I had always been up on the stage, and you didn't come out in costume, and you didn't, interact with the audience, and you were,
there's a wall.
Yeah, there's a wall. There's this separation, and in belly dancing, there is not a wall. There is a dance with my husband, dance with my son, and they want you to come, and they are so interactive with you. And that took a minute to get used to. And then that became my favorite thing in the world. It was just so fun to get people up and get them out of their shell and let them have this new experience. If they weren't Middle Easterners, it's not new, but they still appreciate it so much. They're such appreciative. Anyway, so it was a whole different thing. But writing and film is all about storytelling for me. For me, that's you're trying to create an experience for the audience. So it's about what they experience. You're trying to trigger the right emotions so that your movie is memorable, right? If they watch it and they don't feel anything, then it's not a memorable movie for people. So I think we definitely did that with A Holiday Boyfriend. We'll see if we did that with Sleigh Ride. We'll see if people respond to it. It's a whole different experience. It's a whole different emotion you're trying to evoke. So
that's true.
So it's a whole different.
Are these two stories in the same Dunkley universe? Do we have Over Here Last Winter is a great rom-com, but this winter something went wrong.
Okay, and so what's next winter?
I shouldn't tell you this story, but my family's very religious, right? I went to BYU. They're all Mormon. I'm not part of the church anymore. So they still are all very active. And I told my mom that I was making a horror film. And in her head, she heard Halloween movie, right? Like she heard like Hocus Pocus or something like this cute Halloween
down on Disney Channel
that I was making. And then when I told her like this movie is going to be rated R, like this is not a nice movie, she like was so upset. And I was like, Mom, I've been telling you, like, it's a horror. Anyway, she just had such a hard time. So then, yes, there were two different, because I'd made this cute, wonderful rom-com. And so then she was thinking that's
my daughter. That's
what I was doing. And I was like, no, these are two very different things. And anyway, it was very hard for her to grasp that. But honestly, I'm not going to be too shy to say I'm trying to make movies that make money.
That's fine.
Good.
Because if they don't
teach marketing, it's perfectly fine.
Right? Oh, thank you. Because if they don't make money, I can't make any more.
Right.
Like
100%.
More movies if I don't recoup what I've invested and then enough to make the next one. And so for me, I just thought it was a really great niche market, the holiday horror film. So then I really hoped that would be something that people would respond to. So hopefully that is the case, but we'll see.
Well, I always believe that there's an audience. If you feel it in your heart, you've told a good story, it's going to find an audience. It might not be today, hopefully it will be, but at some point people will find it and go, oh my gosh, look at that. And since we've been talking about them, I'm dropping Olivia's Linktree into our chat so you guys can go and see. And Charles, being the awesome man that he is, threw it up on screen as well.
I love Linktrees. They're the best.
Linktrees are the best.
Okay, so I have to tell you, we're doing a little bit of marketing for Sleigh Ride. And I
Ooh.
hired this company, and she said to me, well, why don't you create a link tree? And I was like, what's a link tree? So
That's a
she sent me
fair question.
she sent me the link to how to
Um,
do it anyway. So that's why I had that. That was very convenient.
yes. Well, and we're big proponents. We love link trees because they just are really convenient for people to find information. So,
I thought it was a genius. I was like, this was smart for someone to figure this out.
and
So
for I don't know if we're on the free version because we're poor. We're not poor. We're just cheap. They're
We're
two different
frugal.
things.
We're
I
We're
agree.
frugal. I've got some Scottish in my blood. So we like it. I mean, it's great. If you don't have one, go get one. I have to ask, Shamafti Films, there's got to be a story behind that name. There has to be. If there's not, make one up for me, please.
there is. So my husband has this uncanny ability to make up words all the time. My husband speaks nonsense all the time, words that don't mean anything all the time. And one of the things that he kept telling me was like, you're so schmafty. You're so schmafty. And I was always like, well, thank you. Because I can make it whatever I want because it's not really a word. So I kept taking it like it was a compliment that he was giving me. Anyway,
So hopefully it was.
hopefully it was. You never know with husbands, sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yes.
So yeah.
Are you saying husbands make bad jokes? Is that what I'm hearing the stereotype coming out of your mouth? You freaking California. I don't know.
I'm just saying you have dad jokes in your Wise and Nerdy show.
Okay, I don't have dad jokes. My partner has dad jokes, and I hate them.
I want you to know I love dad jokes. I love dad jokes.
I do too.
My
Charles,
brother
you've been
shirt
voted off
that
the alley.
dad jokes. I think you mean rad jokes. And I was like, that's the best t-shirt ever. So
I will admit I do bad husband jokes. Like I've been married going on 24 years. And if I want to have a fun moment in public, I'll introduce my wife as my first wife. And sometimes she laughs like you did. And sometimes I'm sure she responded like you did to Schmafty every once in a while, like, just stop it. Just stop it. So I get it.
Yep.
Keeps it fresh.
My sister is 14 years older than me. And whenever I would be upset with her and we were out shopping, I would call her my mom.
Wow, that was good.
Yeah. I think she's forgiven me. It's been 20 years.
That was clever that you even thought to do that. That was clever.
Well, youngest child, smart, that word that I can't say because it's past 9, Charles. Can I officially say bad words?
Honestly, it's our show. We kind of do what we want here.
I try to behave, but the F word is really my favorite. But I was a smart ass kid for sure. I know Charles was.
No.
Those are the funnest ones. Anyway, the smart ass kids. Oh, can we say, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
We're fine.
I was like, she just said, can we say this?
No, but the first panel we talked about this earlier. The first panel I was on at Dragon Con, I said the F word. I didn't know I couldn't before 9 p.m. Nobody told me, Charles.
Okay, it was like 11 a.m. in the morning. All right.
Seems reasonable.
There's no time that the F word is not appropriate. In my opinion, I'm just saying.
That is the society we're in today, right? It's just I do love how things have progressed through generations of offensiveness and lack thereof.
Right.
Like I for a while, not that long ago, I drove Lyft as a hustle, and people are getting in my car and they're just dropping F-bombs left and right, but they're so it's like Tyra. They're just Tinkerbells of positivity, but like F it. I'm like, I kind of dig this society. I dig this society where we can have tattoos and it doesn't matter. We just say whatever we, because it's all about tone. And
yes.
Are you, you're both of you, ladies, are writers. As you've researched what words used to be things, have you come across something interesting? Like stuff that we say today used to be like super offensive in like the 1800s or vice versa.
There's lots of British words that are offensive here, or vice versa. I'm thinking fanny packs. We'll just leave that there.
All right.
And I have no answer for that. I haven't done no research.
No, me
My
neither.
brain goes all over the place. But
I don't write historical fiction. That's too hard.
Well, I think is very interesting your path. One, everybody else heard this great success story. I heard you're crazy. You went to school, learned how to dance, immediately moved to California. Went, I'm going to start a company. That's not dancing. That's a whole different. Why did you start your own company? That's a whole. You didn't dance for somebody else. You just went.
I did. I did.
she
First,
did.
I danced for somebody else, so I had to learn how to belly dance first. So I came from Vegas, and I saw this little note on the dance class wall, and it said, dance company, there is pay. And I was like, okay. I went to this audition, and there were 3 people there. So in Vegas, when you audition, there are 300 people there, right?
Oh my.
So it's
completely different.
It's completely different. Anyway, she hired me that night, and then taught me to belly dance. And this woman, her name is Jelena. She runs a beautiful company. She has this brilliant way of making you all come to rehearsal, because if you don't come to rehearsal, then you don't get to perform in the shows in the weekend, and that's how you make the money. Anyway, she just, and also nicely, right, in this really loving way, she's like, well, when you learn all the choreography, then you can have more shows, and you're like, okay, and then you just really try. Anyway, she was a brilliant company leader, owner, business person, anyway, and a beautiful dancer. Well, it got to the point where I started getting a few clubs, a few restaurants of my own where I would go and do solo work. And I was not, I was performing outside of the company, doing these regular shows. And I was like, I'm making way more money doing this myself. So myself and a couple girls in the company, we just kind of got together and decided to form our own thing. And we didn't pursue any of the clubs where, our old company was working. We pursued new clubs or other clubs where other companies, where they needed dancers or whatever. And we were very successful. It was a lovely experience. The 3 of us, we worked really hard. We didn't do near as good of a job, I don't think, at running our company. We had to work hard to get our employees to come to rehearsal and to learn the choreography and to perform it the way we wanted to, but we did a really good job, and it was a very successful company for a very long time. And one of my partners, she still owns that. She's kind of transferred into all kinds of entertainment for events. So
nice.
But it was a process for sure. So
because I've been in different industries where those who are good at it make it look easy, and so many people try to do their own thing, and it's just a whole different beast.
It is hard, and it was really hard to have partners. That's a terrible thing to say, but when I
get it, yeah,
3 heads, that are all equally in charge, we kind of did it like, the majority wins, which was nice, because if you just had 2 of you, you could have just battled it out. But it was difficult. But we did distribute jobs, and we did distribute them according to our strengths. And my job was to go and get clients, new clubs for us to perform every week. And somehow I was good at that job. We had work every single weekend, and we had parties, and it was really fun. It was a really fun, satisfying. It's a lot of work. You have to get costumes and choreography and music and girls, and you have to train them. And then you have to, and then if something goes wrong, you're got to make it right with clients, to keep people there. And if you're running a business, something goes wrong. That's just kind of
100%.
It is. So.
But what great training for you then to eventually start making your own movies as well, because there's so many moving parts in that too.
There are so many moving parts. It is crazy, but it is fun. The nice thing about making movies for me is that I enjoy every aspect of it. In fact, with Sleigh Ride, I even enjoyed the 12 hours on set. We shot for 2.5 weeks, and usually the filming is like the hard part, because you're on set every day and you're there for 12 hours, and it's,
it's grueling.
It's grueling, but we just played. We had so much fun. My actors were so fun, and I'm kind of in charge of everything, so I want to have fun. So then I want everybody else to have fun. So we tried to, keep it light and not take anything too seriously. And I'm really good at pivoting. I feel like when, things go wrong all the time on set, and I'm really good at pivoting, I feel like. So I feel like anyone who's going to make a movie, you have to be good at compromise. Like, it's just not going to go the way you hoped.
Right.
You thought.
Honestly, if you're going to be successful in life to a certain point, I mean, because there's something to be said about sticking to your values and goals. And you're not talking about that. You're not talking about that kind of compromise. You're talking about, okay,
Yes.
I had a vision of this and it kind of went over here, but we brought it back. Yeah, you have to be. And
Exactly.
I've done a lot of different things, and I've been an extra on a bunch of different sets, and I have found that the director of the day, because sometimes on TV it's a different director on each episode, whatever, but the director sets the tone more than even the actors do.
Yeah.
Because the actor can come in and be like, don't talk to me, and that's fine. As extras, you don't do that anyway. But the director just making it pleasant and human and nice. And hearing your set, I just thought about some of the bad sets. I was like, oh, your set sounded like a good set to be on.
Yeah. I for me, I want everybody to have a good time. Everybody's putting their talents and their effort. Everybody wants it to be good. The nice thing about a movie is everybody wants to be a part of it, and everybody wants it to be good. And, so then as long as you're willing to just like, okay, we can't do this. What can we do? This was how I saw it. That's not working with this shot. So how can we fix it? And then, it's, you listen to your people who, know a lot more than I do about camera angles and shots and that kind of thing. And it works out.
I think that's so true. Always be willing to learn.
Yes.
No matter where you fall, be willing to learn something. Because I teach as a living, I'm a professor, and I learn from my students all the time.
Nice.
So be flexible and willing to learn. I have something written down on the dry erase board in front of me that says, recognize that most days are going to go wonky.
That's exactly right. Yes.
And try to plan for it, but I never am very good for that.
So
it's hard to plan for.
It is. You just,
you can't, you can only prepare, right? You can prepare yourself to like, I know the tools that I have. And if it goes well, that's awesome. If it doesn't, we'll figure it out. That's going to
That's it. That's the attitude we have to
and I think most people listening to this like, well, wonky means bad. What about, Olivia? I would like to hear a story on any of your sets of a happy accident. Like it went wonky and like, holy crap, we didn't see that coming, but this was great for the film.
Happy accident. Okay, so let me think about it. Okay. Lots of things went wrong. Okay, so then here I'll give you one from Sleigh Ride. Oh. So Sleigh Ride, a few days into shooting, my DP, who is the director of photography, got COVID.
Oh no.
And he was so sick. He couldn't come out of his room, and we were all living in the house where we shot together. So my brother and his wife and their 3 kids, I moved them out of their house in with his in-laws, and we all lived in their house for 2.5 weeks. That's how wonderful my brother and his wife are. So we're all living in the house because they're driving a long ways, my crew. And so I was like, yeah, you can just stay here. Anyway, he gets so sick that he, after a week, decides that he's not going to be able to continue.
Oh, no.
Well, then half my crew is like, once we figured out it was COVID, right? Like he kept insisting it was just a sinus infection. It was fine. Like that there was nothing. And then.
No, you've infected all of us.
And then COVID. So then half the crew is like, my AC, my sound person, they were just like, we can't come back. Like we can't be here because I'm staying at so-and-so's house and I can't get their kids sick and blah, 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 blah. So we're going to have to walk. And I'm in Utah where I don't know anybody else, right? Like in California, I have resources. I know sound people and directors, like I know people.
You can pull from them.
Yes. But in Utah, I didn't know anybody. Well, by the end of day, I had a new sound person, a new AC. And honestly, it was a lovely switch. That's a terrible thing to say, but that helped. It helped. The change of personnel helped with the improvement of the mood on set.
Okay.
Let's say it that way. So then it worked out really great. I got a really pleasant, nice, agreeable, lovely sound person who knew his job and did a great job. And then I had a new cameraman come in because I had 2 people on camera, and he and his friend, and one of my grips. Anyway, they all kind of interchanged what they did. They did camera and then they did AC. And oh my gosh, it was so fun to work with them. They were just the right fit. Does that make sense? Like sometimes
Yes.
I was willing to work with the first people. They were doing a great job. They weren't doing anything, but it just clicked really well when we had the change of personnel, and it just kind of all fell right into place. So that was one of those oh shit moments that I thought everything was going to fall
Right.
apart and everybody was going to, I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do here? My brother's living with his in-laws. I can't not shoot. You know what I mean? Like we don't have extra days. Anyway, and
You're
then
like-
my crew stepped up and people knew people and everybody just, it worked out so great. So yeah.
Really, vibe really matters. Like energy and
Mhm.
how you fit with somebody can change
does.
everything.
Yeah.
And one person not being in sync with that, which doesn't mean that you don't question it or you don't push back on things, but that doesn't fit the overall vibe, can really change a project.
I agree. And this was a really good example of that.
Yeah, right people, right place, right time. So
Yeah.
you're talking about being back in LA. Is the indie film industry a tight knit group of people?
If it is, I don't know them.
Okay.
In
That's what I
Atlanta,
was
they know
asking, like,
everybody.
yeah,
I wish-
you
I
never
wish-
know.
Honestly, it's not even their fault because they're probably all very nice people, and I am not out seeking any sort of community, right? Like I'm like I'm
You're
gonna
doing
make a
your
movie
thing.
and then I'm gonna do it all by myself. I make my husband help a lot, but and then I'm gonna hire people, and I don't know. I'm not even good at like going and getting information from other people who have experience. You know what I mean? Like I haven't done a good job of following people who do this. I'm just like, okay, well, you do your thing and I'm going to do my thing. And that's probably not the right
Oh, I get
way to
that
go about
all
it.
day long.
But so
Yeah.
far that has worked. So
And sometimes people will, how do I say this? Are Debbie Downers.
Mm.
Yes.
Sometimes insulating yourself and just doing it keeps you away from people that will knock things about it. Because like I have a bad habit about that. I've got a vampire novel underneath my bed because of what a negative Nancy said to me about something. And one day I'm going to brag it out and see about it and dust it off, but I was much younger then and it's hard. So sometimes insulating yourself is not a bad thing.
yeah, I actually did learn that. One of my mentors or one of the people that I studied, they said, just don't share it with anybody. If you have something that you love that you're doing and that you're creating and it's brand new, don't share it with anybody because you just don't know what they're going to say. And if it's something new, they might just not see you. They might not see that possibility for you the way that you see it for yourself. And so just keep it to yourself. And when it's a tree, keep it to yourself until and then when it's a tree, they'll see it and they'll be like, oh, that's so obvious for you. But whereas when when it's a seed, they could be like, are you crazy? How could you ever? Do you know what I mean? So it is one of the things that I learned that has been actually really beneficial.
I definitely relate to that a lot. I mean, did your mom find out about Sleigh Ride after it was a tree?
No. Well, after it was too late to stop. Yes. Though
Okay, good.
She did try to stop it. I shouldn't say that, but she was just like,
Mom!
she's like, do you know what kind of movie she's trying to make? And you're going to let her use your house? Oh my gosh. I was like, Mom, it's not too late.
I need video. I need the TikTok video of your mom picketing your debut of your movie with a sign like, down with my daughter.
Yeah,
she makes trash films.
I do have to say this. She has done a really good job of being very supportive since that.
Aww.
Since the end. Right. So I think somehow my dad just was like, look, this is happening. And
you can either
rather than having it be a rift or a problem, it's her life and let her do it. And then she's done a really good job of that. Honestly, my dad was way supportive and very helpful, which was lovely because it really is it's not their kind of movie. It's
Right.
it's something that they're really not supportive of, and I understand that and I respect that. But like I said, I'm trying to make something that's going to provide for future success. So anyway,
Well,
that was my goal.
I think we also have to remember, and probably you're going through this right now as a parent, is that parents are people.
Yes.
And, they are
Yeah.
also on journeys, even when they're older. Like my parents were much older by the time they had me. They were 50 and 44, but they were still learning things. And I to this day remember the biggest mistake my dad ever made with me, but he didn't make it again. That's for sure. He learned from it and grew from it. And, it's hard to remember that. I know your mom. So how exciting is it to be a mom? They're so young, aren't they? Both of them are like top.
Yeah, Mom, they're both so little, so it's still really fun. I have a almost 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and
Oh.
it is so fun.
Charles
It's
is going to tell you to wait until they're teenagers.
I know,
No,
right?
honestly, I give the positive advice because I have 4 kids. So call them set 1 and set 2. The first set is 18 months apart, and we planned it that way. And now they are 19 and 18. And then set 2, 5-year gap between the 2 sets, same
Okay.
wife and everything, but it's same 18
Important
months
technology.
apart. And they're now 13 and 11. So
Okay.
I can tell you, every phase has its own issues to deal with, right? I still am scarred by the bottle feeding, in the middle of the night. Man, side note, because there's some more about the phases, but we had the first 2 kids, but then they grew up, right? So my oldest daughter, then my only daughter, by the time we had my second son or got pregnant, she was 5. So, at that phase, there's you're out of diapers, you're doing all kinds of stuff. And I just remember leaning on the counter at 2 a.m, heating up a bottle going, why did I choose this torture again? But then they're great. So every age group, and there's a range of ages, they all do something different, but they're all good in different ways. And I think if you really enjoy being a parent, you'll enjoy all the phases. I've definitely met parents who are like, man, teenagers are horrible. And I'm like, man, you raised them. Because I have to take responsibility for everything my kids do. It's not great.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Well, that's the right attitude. You did it the hard way. 2 of them that close together, because my 2 are so close together. And honestly, I kind of feel like my son, when I had my daughter, he was a little like, hey, and he was still such a little baby. He's still so
Aw.
young and such a baby. And he got so attached to his dad. And then I feel like I kind of just was like, okay, well, that works out. And then I kind of took care of the baby. And then I feel like I did that too much. And so then I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, my son still needed me. He's still a baby. So we're doing good now. It's found a good balance, but
It's a learning process. I mean, that's the thing.
yeah, it is such a learning process. It's crazy.
You learn on the go when you're a parent.
Yes.
I am not a parent. I have a dog and 2 cats.
I have a dog and cat as well.
Good for you.
we can always drop our kids off at the ranch too. Just like you drop your dog off at the ranch. It's okay.
Dobby
Not
goes to the
like
ranch
put
on
them out in
Friday.
the pasture. I'm not talking about that. There's actually it's called the ranch. Her doggy daycare is called the ranch. Sorry.
I
That
see.
sounded really worse than a minute.
That was horrible.
I didn't get it. I was like, okay, they dropped some off the ranch.
You were
Yeah.
like, she seemed like such a nice. Where's
Sleigh
Dobby?
ride 2. We all go to the ranch.
There's Dobby.
Cute.
He's a sweetheart. He's over. Yep, he's passed out over there. One day he brought me a sock, and if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know that was very enlightening. I did not
it
let him
took over
keep
the show, is what it did.
it. Did. And I had the sock for a long time until I finally gave it back to my husband.
Yeah, you're like, I guess you can have this back.
Here's your sock. I know you're missing a pair. Here you go. So, Olivia, what's next for you?
Okay, so next, I plan to finish this book, get it published. Well, I'm just going to self-publish, right? So
Good
I'm going
for
to just
you.
self-publish and put it out. And then I'll just tell you, I had my friend, Robert Griffith, before he died. He called me one day and he said, how you doing? And I was like, I'm good. And he's like, I have a movie idea for you. And I was like, okay.
We all need friends like this, obviously.
He goes, you know how I told you a movie idea and then you made that movie? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, okay, so here's my idea. And then he told me this idea that he had for this movie. And I was like, well, now I have to make that movie. So my plan after this book is out is to write that script and start getting set for the next one.
Good for you.
So I've heard different production stories of we've worked on this, we've refined this for 10 years, or bam, in 1 year we've got it written and we've finished shooting, whatever. What's your process like of idea, fleshing it out inside your head to then write it out?
So my process is I have the idea and then usually I start writing it right away. I'm not doing that because I'm really focused on getting this book done, but the script is keeping me up at nights already. I have the scenes flash through my head and I lay there and I think to myself, oh, that's really good. I should write that down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the middle of the night, so I don't. But I'm starting to flesh it out, right? I'm getting all the ideas. The juices are flowing. I'm really excited about this project. It really is a really cute, super fun movie idea. So I'm excited about it. And then I usually write my scripts and then I have a lot of time. So I'm not on anybody's time schedule. I'm not trying to, I'm not answering to anybody. It's just myself and when I decide and when I have the money and when I'm ready to go. So I need some funds to come in from Sleigh Ride. I need it to make some money before I can make the next one. I think it's going to do really well. I think it's a fun film. It's very entertaining, I think. What do I know?
I love your movie poster. I really do. I love both of them. And I love the fact that snowflakes are in both of them. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's so funny that I've made 2 Christmas movies and they're nothing alike.
I know. Is the next one also a Christmas movie?
The next one is not a Christmas movie.
Oh,
It's a Hanukkah film.
It's a romance. It's a rom-com action.
Oh,
movie.
fun. Okay, so I feel like this might be a mom will like it movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll like this one. It's going to be really fun. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'll probably write the script next year, and then I'm not planning to shoot next year. I'm planning to get back surgery.
Oh no!
To get back surgery next year. No, that's neither here nor there. But that's on the schedule. So then we're doing that, and then to shoot the following year. So we're planning 2026. I think.
That's a good schedule. Plus, if you back surgery and writing and getting a book out work together better.
Yeah, it will work out really well. I think it'll give me enough time to get some money in, and it'll give me enough time to write everything that I want to have written, get everything perfected. I've found with my scripts that I'll write them and then like a couple months later, I'll have this idea and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I should do that with this. And then I'll go in and I'll rewrite it and I'll change it. And anyway, so.
I think they have to cure almost.
Yes,
books and scripts. They just have to cure.
They do. And then they just get better and better. I agree 100%. So
yeah. Because all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, crap.
Yes.
I need to change that.
Absolutely.
Thank heavens we have computers because in the typewriter days, of which I did not do this during, it was horrible.
Can you even imagine? Because the idea sometimes changes the whole rest of that. You have to go in and change it.
And when you started calling him Michael and halfway through you started calling him Mark. I mean, not that I've ever done this.
I'm so glad that
maybe I have.
I'm glad that's not just me. Okay.
No.
Because I have to be like, no, what did I write? Did I say this? And then I have to read it and be like, oh yeah, I did say that. Okay, so then I need to.
I changed a cop's name once. It was great.
I
will tell you that
is hard.
Breaking out my phone and keeping a note and just jotting memory, like if I think of something in bed, that's what I'll do. So
that's so smart. Yeah, I am.
Because I can't remember. I'm at that age.
I have to say I have not been good about that with my writing, and I should, because I think to myself, just get up and write just this scene that you just thought of, and I'm too lazy. But
just grab the phone.
At least say it into my phone, because the voice recorder, I do like to use that too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I will probably start using that. As a mom, my brain is like, I don't know what happens to your brain. It's like,
No, mom brain is
Oh
amazing.
no, it's chemicals. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
He's 100%
I'm a
right.
paramedic. I was and 4 kids. I'm just telling you, there's a there.
it
You
doesn't
get,
make any sense. I'm like, how does it benefit anybody if you're stupider after you have kids? I don't get it. But anyway.
you don't kill the
not-
kids. That's it. You're like, oh, I forgot how bad they were yesterday. It's like, I don't know.
Just wait till perimenopause, and then you can go back to wanting to kill them. It'll be awesome, but by then they'll be gone.
Gee, easy.
Life has a way.
I think, Tyra, I have
Yes.
like the perfect marriage of a podcast for Olivia to go on. I think
Oh.
we need to introduce her to TV's Travis, who does a show called Gore about horror films, but even better, he does a show called Wait, You Haven't Seen, where at least him or his guests haven't seen the film. And I think him having not seen it, he watches it for the first time, and then you two talk about it.
That
I
would be
love it.
great.
We'll have to make that
Yeah.
introduction for you because
I
like
would love to do that. Thank you.
horror. He's such a fan of film.
His research is amazing. Like when he goes to watch something, he knows everything about it when you talk to him. It's astounding. You'll love him. He's funny as all get out.
That would be awesome. I would appreciate that immensely. I'm obviously just want people to know about the film and get it out there and have as many people watch it and enjoy it as possible. So that's
Absolutely. Well, and that's where you can find her at Linktree, and it's also in our chat for if you're watching this live or on the replay. Catch it in the chat box as well, and I will drop another post about your stuff tomorrow just to remind everybody they can watch the replay. And I can't remember what else I'm supposed to say, Charles.
Well, I would like to ask, where do we watch this movie and when does it hit?
So Sleigh Ride is out. A Holiday Boyfriend is on the Linktree. All the places,
Yes.
all the free platforms. Sleigh Ride is it's everywhere as well. It's on Amazon, it's on Apple, it's on Fandango, it's on Google Play, it's on all of the things. But right now it's a paid transaction. Just so you know, A Holiday Boyfriend, you can go watch it for free all over the place.
Oh.
Right now, for the first 90 days, Sleigh Ride, you'd have to rent or buy it. That's all.
That's good. We like supporting people. I'm going to drop I hope you don't mind, I'm going to drop an IMBD into our things. That's for Sleigh Ride. That's a horrible link. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have enough time to use the lovely tiny URL that Kaz made for me that I should have used. Sorry, Kaz. I love you. But that will get you there, and it should help you find a place to watch it. One of the places you can rent and buy it is Prime Video. $5.99. You could have a great night. My husband can watch it and then watch it and tell me if I can. I don't watch horror or gore, so
I think you can. One of the things that drew me to this particular story was the fight, right? So it's not one of those torture. What my friend Scott referred to as torture porn. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand.
It is not that. This
Okay,
is a battle. For your life, right? And for the life of her family. So it's a woman basically fighting for her life and the life of her family from this psychotic killer Santa Claus who has decided to target her for reasons that I'll let you discover in the film.
Ooh, well, I know Val has it on her watch list now. She can't wait to check it out. I'm going to be watching the love rom-com because that's my skies. We'll report back and see what we all say.
Yeah. Let me know what you think.
Absolutely. So guys, go check out Olivia for us. And Charles, what are you doing?
Well, tomorrow night, I'll be talking to Olivia again over on Wise and Nerdy, where we're going to have a little different format of how we talk, but it's going to be so much fun. Although you like dad jokes, so I don't know how much fun it'll be for me. But Joe, who also went to BYU is my show host partner, and it's going to be a whole different kind of conversation, but we're also, and he loves horror films too. So we're going to have a lot of
And he's a
talk about,
BYU
so,
graduate too.
Yeah.
We have a lot to talk about.
So much. Yeah, we're so in common. Goodness.
And yeah, it's going to be a blast. So I'll be there, Wise and Nerdy. You can Linktree/wise_and_nerdy. And Tyra, we need to see some more Geek Meet Social.
Yeah.
No, you're not supposed to get negative about it. You're like, yes, I'm going to bring some more that to the table.
Yes, I have so many episodes of wonderful people that I need to get edited, and I need to ask for help from Charles. But finals week is this week, and for all the lovely professors and teachers out there, may you grade and may they not cheat. It's Chat GPT. It's making my life hell. That's all I got to say. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. But grades are due on the 12th. I go maybe to place where the mouse is the week after that. I'm very excited. But soon there will be more Geek Meet Social. You can find me at tyraburton.com or here on Be Awesome Together, where I am awesome with Charles some days.
Every week we try to be awesome together. At least one of us is awesome. The other one, like me, I'm not always awesome. But again,
Charles is always awesome.
check out Linktree/Olivia Dunkley. That's OLIVIADUNKLEY. You've been amazing. Glad that you were able to come in tonight. And yeah, come back next week. We're going to talk about nerdy gifts for Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, fun.
I have to do my Lucy impression from Peanuts.